it's also a code. The
Okay.
the reign also means rulership of something. And the deer is the what you call zoo type for the elk lodge, which is the Elks clan, those whose totem animal is the elk,
Mm.
right? So this is the rulership off the elk lodge comes at the cycle of the new solstice. So it's telling you a particular lodge.
Really?
And then you have the reindeer right there, that's the parody of Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. And the Rudolph is the Randolph is the black girl matching.
Okay.
So she surfaces once again to get her point across. Y'all niggas gonna learn y'all something today.
Today. Okay.
Most definitely, most definitely. That for those that didn't hear in the
You gonna
background.
learn today.
Oh shit.
Yes.
But absolutely, absolutely. Going back to the one that we was in with the kidneys. All right. If nobody wants to add anything else, I'm gonna go
If
to.
you see those kidneys, they look like the early stages, the fetal development of a set of twins.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because when they go through the first stage, they look like a butter bean,
Oh, I see what you're. Holy shit.
right? So the the kidneys are the purifier of the blood. It's a filter, right? And the urine comes out sterile.
Facts.
But when it's exposed to the light, the uric acid converts into ammonium, which contaminates the urine,
Facts. Facts.
right? But as long as it's in the bladder, straight from the kidneys, it's purified, right? So this is when you talking about um, the need of a precious stone, talking about a kidney stone. We also find word kid with the word kidney. Kid meaning the baby goat who's going to grow up to be the great Baphomet. The Baphomet symbol is the goat head, which is also the symbol of the uterus, right? And then it says obvious connects in the language web with the German Reich. And the German Reich was the Reich. In the reign of the Reich, the Fourth Reich was the unknown Reich, Operation Paperclip, a NASA connection off of Thule Society claim on a H.P. Blavatsky's secret doctrine in order to capitalize off of a Knights Templars 32-degree Scottish Rite sellout of the people. So it's a redemption program through a purification process of the children by understanding where the contamination is coming from. So the kidneys is where you filter it out.
Facts.
And that's why urine comes out gold.
Facts. 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 You want to add something, sis, before we keep it moving?
No, keep it moving.
I
Like some
hear
point.
you. I'm listening myself.
Hey,
So,
this is how it's
the,
supposed to go. It's supposed to flow right on through
right,
with
right,
all this
definitely.
information.
So with reincarnation, all right. Remember the word rain,
Mm.
and and the fact that a carnation is a flower, all right. But flower is also flower, and I'm gonna explain that right now. This is why there is also reincarnation, because a carnation is a flower, and we produce the virgin flower or flowered more sexual innuendo to make bread, who are reincarnated, which are virgin, clean, clear, and pure all over again. All right. If you remember, when you take away the virginity of a woman, it is said that she is deflowered. All right, her virginity is taken away. All right. Now with rains meaning kidneys, and kidneys is purity. All right, the purity of something, and a carnation is a flower that represents something untouched. All right. Want to add something? Anybody?
So right here, when you say reincarnation and you see the budding flower, the flower is, like you said, is synonymous with the developing young maiden, which they call a virgin,
Fact.
right? So she's coming of age. She's beginning to flower now,
Right.
right? So if you look at the story that's being told, right? So the young female is flowering, and she's being capable of producing a seed again. The reincarnation, you come back through your own bloodline.
Fact.
So when you reinsert yourself into the flower, then you born again through rebirth or regeneration. This is the story of Tammuz and Dumuzi, the
Ooh.
sprout and the sprout of the sprout. That's just like the first sprout. The father is like the son. Comparative analysis on be a good man in order to raise a boy into a good man so that you can raise a good husband to farm the vineyard. And the vineyard is where the flowers grow, and the flowers grow and they become grapes, and then you make the wine. And the wine is synonymous with the sacred blood. So you become the tender of the farm of the family as the great husbandman, right? It's all symbology to take you back to the psychosocial development of a people so that you can see where the errors is in the developments of the society. So this is giving you sociology by symbolism, how to develop a strong, coherent family. You develop the family by properly farming the flowers. That's the offspring, because all of the flowers come forth offspring.
Ooh.
Damn.
And
Okay.
Big facts.
and some of the flowers is roses, but some of them are daisies. But you'd rather be raising flowers than pushing up daisies, because daisies grow in the cemetery.
Damn.
Right.
So if you pushing up daisies, that means that you dead.
So look around your city and how many daisies do you see pushing up in empty fields and stuff?
Uh
Wonder
oh,
what's up under their dead.
somebody in trouble.
They ain't all in the
Okay.
cemetery. They ain't all in the cemetery. They're all over the cities.
Right, but the keeper of the dead is the keeper of the mentally dead in order to snap them out of the slumber.
Right. Right.
Right, so then he becomes the shepherd of the sheep because they know not what they do. Right, so he lead them along the path for the wise because the wise already have a beaten path. And the path is beaten by the women a long time ago if the men just wake up and see what's in front of them. Put the power where the power go, and nature runs how it's supposed to run flawlessly. As the flower blossoming on time in the spring of the year proves annually. Right? So off the tails of the winter solstice, we looking at the spring equinox now. So this gives you a time frame in bookends. And the symbolism is the old man of the forest is kicking good Saint Nick straight in his goddamn chest. Get your imposter ass off the land.
Mm.
Saint Nick becomes the representation of the monetizing commercial aspects of the Catholic Church in order to manipulate and control the social groupings of people at key centers of energy in the upper atmosphere that's going to manifest on earth.
Fact. Fact.
So why is Santa black then?
Because the real Saint Nicholas was black,
There you go.
but they painted pale faces and black face to tell you that it was black faces behind the pale faces.
Shit.
But we didn't never catch it because we didn't know that the black hand was the black man under the KKK robe who brought that attire straight from Barcelona, Spain, the Easter festival.
Mhm.
And the Easter festival is the Ishtar festival. It's the fertility festival of the woman,
The
which
Easter.
goes back to the spring of the year and the coming forth for the flowers. And a rose is still a rose, even if it grows from the concrete with tattered petals.
All of this stuff makes it even more sinister that you know, that they would have the Bible be told like it's being told, or the allegories that they use to tell that, um, versus real, true, beautiful, natural, divine stories, equating these flowers with life and the body and all these mechanisms, like, flowing like they're supposed to flow. And then they give us these allegories with the Bible that just, you can't. They be so ridiculous. You can't even think about them. That's what I would say. But they're not ridiculous. It's not even so much that they're ridiculous, that the planning and plotting and scheming that went into mixing up the real science or the real stories or the real wonders. Like, it's no wonder. Like, this is beautiful shit right here, right? And
Yeah,
we don't appreciate this. We don't.
that's the wonders of nature, as we used to call them. Because if we observing nature, every part of nature is going to teach us about the microcosm and the macrocosm.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to know how our body works because the nature is going to show us the physiology using alternative physical vessels as the parts of the body.
Mm-hmm.
So when the women started looking for the herbs that healed the body, this is what they was matching up. The bean looked like a kidney.
Mm,
Therefore, the legumes, as they call them, have the nitrogens in it that allows the kidneys to process at a more optimum rate,
mm-hmm.
Holy shit. Okay.
right? So the women already knew that. So the comfort food be the kidney beans or the beans cooked slow, seasoned over time by how she feel in order to put her heart into the meal. And then she put the beans over the rice and it feels so good eating it because you can taste the love in the food. Because that was one of the seasonings that was going in over the time of the cooking. And you cook them on low temperature so that you can allow the nutrients to extract into the pot liquor so that the pot liquor could be used to make the baby food. But we don't remember that when she cooked the greens and used the cornbread because we didn't have no Gerbers.
Right. We
Put the
right.
pot liquor on the cornbread and mash it up for the baby.
Right. There was no Gerber baby. Everybody was a Gerber baby. None of it.
Everybody was Big Mama baby because Big Mama used to cook all the time and had plenty pot liquor to make baby food. She knew what she was doing.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, when we're getting it, since we're getting into reincarnation, all right. I want to touch up a little more on the whole concept because there's a little more to it. So with reincarnation, remember, We're talking about a flower, all right? A carnation is a flower, and we're talking about purity, virgin, clean, clear. We're talking about reincarnation, coming back, cycling back, all right? Now, when we look at flower, first of all, put a one on the. Actually, don't put a one. Put a 666 in the chat if you were aware that the word flower, as in FLOUR, and flower, as in FLOWER, are one in the same. The flower that you use for cooking and the flower, the carnation,
And the
are,
flower you smoke.
huh?
And the flower you smoke.
And the flower is
What?
smoking.
Damn.
One in the same, all right? So when we look at the edamon, all right, because we don't want to just speak just to speak. When we look at the edamon of flour, it's a finer portion of found of ground grain, all right, and maintaining its older spelling on the notion of flour as the finest part of a meal, perhaps as the flower is the finest part of the plant or the fairest plant of the field, as distinguished from the coarse part too. Old French fleur, fleur is Spanish for flower, FLOWER, also meant both flower, blossom, and meal, fine flour. The English word also was spelled flower until flour became the accepted form in the 1830s. So when we look at the etymon of flour, as in flour, what you cook with, it literally tells you finer portion of a grain, mid 13C, from flour. All right, the root word of flour is flour. The root word of flour is flour. All right, that just to
So this is what you call a word derivative,
facts.
right? So this derivative emerged off of a homonym. That's two words that sound alike but mean something different. But in
Right,
this case, it's two words that spelled different, but they mean the same thing.
and they mean the same thing. Those are facts, facts, facts. So now that we're aware of that whole concept being one in the same, then we know that flower, and also the perennial, it's a kind of a flower, all right? And a perennial is the kind of flower that goes through a cycle of reincarnation. It dies in the winter and it comes back. And as we talked about earlier, we know that this one dies and come back, but the pine tree is the only tree that never dies. The pine tree don't die. It don't matter if it's winter or if it's hot as hell. The pine tree kicks ass. The pine tree kicks ass. All
So
right.
the pine tree comes from a group of trees called the evergreen. And the
Fact.
evergreen means forever green. This species of tree included the pine, the fern, which we classify as Christmas trees, right? And the evergreens is where you get your pine sol scent from.
Facts.
The pine scent is an old Native American cleaning tradition. Years ago, before the settlers came, when you come over on the cleaning day, everything smelled like pine sol
Right. Facts.
because it was pine cleaner was the first industrial cleaner that we made because we didn't have to kill the trees to make it.
You could just get the sap.
Okay.
You could just sap it. You could just tap it and get the sap, because that's what we do here. We bleed our trees in the wintertime right here at Rouge Park, right here in Detroit. We get the sap for honey, sugar, maple syrup. You could just tap them and get the sap for all of that. You ain't even got to kill them.
Yeah, but
If you indigenous, you know your mind would You ain't got to cut it down and all of that. A lot of the like he said, the pine, they spruce, evergreens, all type of, they stay green all year long. And as long as you don't mess with them or harm them too bad, you can use them continually. It's good sap for open wounds, bruises. You seal up your house, all type of stuff. Those are trees.
That's deep. That's deep.
Everything we did was to live in harmony with the land. So when the invaders came, we lived in the treetops. We had treetop villages just like we had villages on the ground. If you look at Florida, you'll see a lot of tree stumps when you're going down toward the Keys. That's because all of those trees was burnt down in forest fires and chopped down by lumberjacks in order to get in there to get at the Gullah Geechee and the Seminole Wars or the Gullah Wars. You used to be able to walk treetops from southern Florida's tip all the way to Louisiana without coming out the trees.
On
Now
some
you can't find no trees.
hey, on some Avatar shit.
Yeah, we literally used to have treetop villages.
Facts. Big facts.
That look, they burned down our cities, flooded us out, mud flooded us, been continuously bombing us ever since they've been here, and then they act like we ain't even at war. And then
Straight
they
back.
tell us how to fight them.
Right. Right.
If you want to fight me, you got to fight me like this.
Right. And we be like, okay.
Right. Right. Won't think outside the box with that shit.
We ain't gonna never take our shit back because don't nobody want to take our shit back. But soon as we get tired of playing the game,
that was a lie.
look, as soon as we get done playing the games and we get tired of dicking around with these motherfuckers, we gonna claim our shit back. Ain't no doubt about it because we done it before and we'll do it again.
Facts. Facts.
It's just family business. It ain't nothing personal. And we related to the earth.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. So when we look at NATO, all right, because this is where we get stuff like native and stuff like that. You know, this is where we find the difference between indigenous and native. Or there is another one. There is autochthonous, I think is the word, but I can't. I might be slaughtering the word. I can't recall it right now. But when we're talking about NATO, it says this could also be known as reincarnated because the word NATO is definition of and relating to the place of time of one birth. This word is etymologically rooted in the Portuguese Natal, meaning Christmas, Noel, Jule, Nativity. Hence, you know, that's what they say that the nativity that you do underneath your tree is the literally the